Good morning, everybody out there, and welcome to News Busters Morning Paper Review. My name is Jennifer Wonsu, and of course, I will be reviewing a cross section of papers from the Nigerian newsstands this morning. It's quite a rainy morning, so yeah, it's always an ideal time to catch up with the news. I'll be starting with the Nation newspaper right in front of me, and from the Nation, the big story that says Adamu's incapacitation talk sparks row over Akeredolu. That's the chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adamu, who said he made a comment. Abdullahi Adamu made a comment regarding the health status of Rotimi Akeredolu, the governor of Ondo State, who's been in and out, of the country due to his health issues. And he made a comment which has sparked quite a controversy, saying that his health status has incapacitated him and he's out of the country. But the Ondo State House, the media aides for the governor came out to say the governor is not in that kind of state of health. But you can get more on that story from page 4, and it's the big story from the Nation newspaper this morning. And of course, more stories. There are many things we see from the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Yes, the Guardian says Akpabio 13 senators to earn over 5.6 billion naira. Ex-governors' pensions and benefits. That's a whooping sum, if you tell me. It should actually, should our lawmakers, governors, and so much. But these things are subject to review, and review in the Nigerian sense means it definitely must go up. And I wonder what happens to the people at the lower rung of the larder and the food chamber. You can grab that story from the Guardian newspaper this morning. And of course, another story from the Guardian on page 6 this time. It says Tinubu breaks silence, orders arrest of Plateau Benue killings masterminds. There has been quite a bit of mayhem in that part of the country. And this time around, it's occurred at Mangu Local Council, where there has been so much killing and reprisal attacks on people and that community. Even an 8-month-old baby was killed in that, tension-laden atmosphere. And you ask yourself, really, what did the baby do? But anyways, the president has ordered for the arrest of the people who are perpetrating those actions and making communities unsafe. And Mangu is quite strategic in the Nigerian economic scene because a lot of produce, fresh produce, especially Irish potatoes and all the things, are gotten from that region. So it's always a case of headsmen and the people in the community, or the people in the community versus people from another nearby community. But we hope that this time around, these arrests and can be properly made and people prosecuted and made to face the full brunt of the law. And not only in Plateau State, but of course other regions in the country, especially in the southeast, where it has been one spot of trouble to the other. If it's not a sit at home, it's IPOP telling people to stay away completely from everything. So we hope the president will have these dialogues with stakeholders and key leaders, both traditional and religious, from all these areas, and we can actually see a stop to these mindless killings. All right, moving on from that paper, we have another paper here from the Punch. I'll just quickly read out the big story, and of course other sub stories there. We see above the masthead, it says SEC investigates Otudeko's FBN share acquisition. You can get that story. It's been making quite, raising some waves here and there. It's on page 9 about Sudeko's ability to actually get a huge chunk of shares in First Bank of Nigeria. All right, PDP governors demand credible polls in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. APC crisis deepens as Omishore labels Lukman a black sheep. That's on page 27. And the big story there talks about Naira devaluation. Says Nigerian students face tough times in the UK. Tuition soars by 60%, and new forex rate threatens overseas students. Indebted scholars barred from classes. Parents beg federal government for concession as tuition. Living cost climb amid forex crisis. Those are just, some happenings on the national and global scene, correlating. And moving down, we see police kill sit-at-home enforcers. IPOB declares 14-day lockdown. I just talked about that. It's on page 27 of the Punch newspaper. Panel storms automobile workshop impounds vehicles. That's an automobile workshop belonging to the former governor of Benue State. Samuel Autumn was stormed by the assets investigations panel to, check out some assets he had acquired during his tenure as governor. You'll get more on that story on page 28. And on page 22, talking about business, FMDQ Exchange launches derivatives market. Pick up the Punch. It's has quite a number of stories in it this morning. And of course, it's the Tribune newspaper and the Tribune newspaper this morning. We see the major story there from the president. It says plateau cycle of violence must be broken as he orders for manhunt for the killers, and we will get to the root of insecurity in our region. That's coming from the northern governors. The insecurity has been rife and it's been going on for years. So are they telling us something we don't know? Are they planning to do something that's not been done before? Anyways, that's the major story from the Nigerian Tribune. We also see how Global Consortia became First Bank's largest shareholders. Senate to probe NNPCL subsidy regime. Kicks against 9.3 trillion naira expenditure as security operatives set ablaze vessel intercepted with stolen oil. Of course, I believe we must have heard a bit about that story about the vessel laden with over 150,000 metric tons of crude that was said by NNPCL to have been stolen. And you can actually get more of that story from other papers. I think we can get it from page 5 of the Nation newspaper, yes. And from page 5 it says intercepted vessel destroyed in Delta had 150,000 metric tons of crude worth $86.8 million. Wow, that's a big setup for life. But anyway, more details have emerged concerning and behind the intrigues of the interception and destruction of the 800,000 ton capacity vessel bearing stolen crude oil. There's so much, stories from different sides from the joint task force that was said to have set into place the Nigerian National NNPCL. Everybody has their sides of stories. We have some anonymous insiders in the NNPCL giving completely different versions of that story. So the vessel named MT2 was apprehended by security operatives and set place. But a lot of people are asking, if you're saying this vessel is being used to siphon and steal crude from certain places, why did you have to set it in place? Because that is evidence. It's you don't tamper with evidence. But I believe that issue might actually have to be probed, and a lot of people are being put in this. Also, one of the Niger Delta warlords, known as Chief Government's Bankole, that's Bankole, is actually said to be the owner of the vessel or the company that is responsible for that vessel. Anyways, catch that story both from the Punch and of course the Nation newspaper on the from the Nation. It's on page 5, so you have a good read about that. There are loads and loads of stories from the Punch. We see on page 5 we've got quite a number of stories from that page. Yes, back to the Punch. So a lot of things on the human angle here. We see Walker to die by hanging for killing Lagos hotelier and manager. This Walker, for whatever reason, he must have given strangled the owner of a hotel and the hotel manager, to death, and the courts have sentenced him to death by hanging. Sad one. We also see courts remands Trinity guy minus parents for 52 more days. I believe that story made the round last week about a social media handler who actually had to be taken and put behind bars because of how he accosted and made some improper advances towards an underage girl. All right, and we also see Lagos mechanic defiles neighbor's 8-year-old daughter. These cases of defilement are actually getting way out of hand. I had that conversation with someone this morning, and we talked about it. We're like, what is the reason for the high rise in, this sexual misconduct and the number of cases that come from it? Some say we agree. I think I gave the opinion of it being a psychological thing, and people trying to deal with repressed memories and all that. Well, we hope the government can actually look into these matters, and people can start getting proper psychological evaluations, because we can't go on like this in this country. It has become a menace. It's almost like a drug problem. And speaking about drugs, we see drug addicts arrested for stabbing Lagos cleric to death. It's all from the Punch newspaper. Between pages 4 and 5, you get those stories. All right, so much from the Punch newspaper. Thank you, Punch newspaper, for all those lovely stories. We also see from Punch, I almost missed that there, on page 27, the Director General of the National Food and Drug Law, National National Food, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. They say that we should beware and avoid carbide ripened fruits. Yes, there's a chemical known as calcium carbide that is used by a lot of fresh produce sellers to hasten the process of fruits ripening. You get to see some door-looking fruits. They look ripened on the outside, but most times inside they are highly unripened. So this is said to be caused by these traders or sellers pouring carbide on them, and this carbide is quite dangerous because even the people who are selling it don't really know how far-reaching the effects can be on the human body. These things make you dizzy, they can cause permanent skin damage, they make you ulceric, vomiting, headaches, dizziness, and of course ultimately death. So please, we should endeavor to check the things we buy to consume. And for those who are selling these things, I really wonder how much they will make on those sales, considering it's fruits. It's not like they're selling them in tons or containers. Let's all be our brothers keepers. All right, and do I have time for any other story on the business scene? I think that should be from the Guardian. We see from here in Nigeria, we see that telcos are actually making for a case. Telecom operators are seeking the removal of 5% telecoms tax on telephony services. They say that this is really causing a lot of hardship on subscribers, and if the government adds an extra 5%, it's going to be about 12.5% for subscribers to bear this weight alone, and it's going to cut a lot of people off, and they wouldn't have access to this telephony and mobile services. They're asking for the government not just to suspend it, but totally remove these extra value added tax from the Financial Act so people can breathe, companies can perform, and give quality service to people. And that's it for business and a bit of sports. On the sports scene, we see Abubakar raises the alarm over slow preparation for Paris 2024 Olympics. That's Africa's former #1 tennis player, Professor Sadiq Abubakar, says that there is slow preparations, and Nigerians should actually take out time to put these things in order. We always have that power brigade approach, when it comes to sports and all that. And Super Eagles to know 2026 World Cup African opponents tomorrow. So by tomorrow, the African qualifiers will be drawn in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, and this, according to CAF, that's the Confederation of African Football, said the draw will be held live on CAF's digital platform and CAFonline.com. So watch out for that, and every other person who wants to know how we're going to prepare and where we're falling. And Ekpo vows that after Amusa, I will be next Nigerian to break world record. That's from the United States-based Nigerian hopla, Prosper Ogenemine Okperu. All right, so we'll watch out for that. All right, and that's how far I can take it with the sports and all the news updates here on the newspaper review this morning from Newsbuster. And make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, retweet any platform. You know how it goes. So do enjoy the rest of your day, and of course check out our website for real-time news, where you can check out what's trending and all the latest news. You can check that out on www.newsbuster.ng. All right, have a lovely day.